What's up, Tiger Gang? It's JT from the Poco Moonshine family. We are back with another episode of Chatting with Carnivores. We got Bubba here today. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing real good. I'm doing real good. Um, can you w- let us know where are you from and where are you at?
I live in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada.
Oh yeah, you're up in Canada.
Yeah, I'm a real Canuck.
Hey,
Yeah, I grew up
hey,
chewing hockey pucks, right?
yeah. So you've been to a lot of hockey games.
Yeah, I played for a long time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. A couple of guys I played with got drafted into the NHL years ago. So
Wow, that's cool.
yeah.
So let us know how did Bubba grow up besides ice skating and hockey?
How did I grow up?
Yeah,
I
we
don't
want to
know.
know
When
about you.
I grew up one day at a time, I think.
I like it, Bubba.
No, I don't know. I mean, I mainly grew up in a suburb called Colwood, which is now its own city because Greater Victoria, I think, has like 11 municipalities,
Hmm.
and I believe the total population is somewhere between 4 to 500,000,
Wow.
something like that. So it's fairly big. But we grew up. My both my parents worked and played a lot of sports, hockey, football, fastball. I swam. When I was in high school, I was into archery, and I won the BC Barebow Open Championship in my class.
Wow.
And then when I got out of high school, before I went to college, I started training in the gym, and I got into bodybuilding and powerlifting, and that kind of took my life over at that point. But I don't know, my childhood, I don't know if it was really average. Um, I think we've all had issues growing up, and we don't really talk about them.
Hmm.
I guess, like my dad grew up in northern Saskatchewan as a poor dirt farmer, and he'd been working since he was like 4 or 5 years old, and
Wow.
then my mom grew up in Nanaimo, and she had some issues being adopted, and which we had to work through growing up. So things weren't really the easiest because she struggled with anxiety and depression and whatnot. And, when we were young and back then, a woman going through those issues, the first thing they did was give them those happy pills, the first generation
Hmm.
antipsychotic and antidepressants, right?
Hmm.
So that was a bit of a problem. But my mom got through that and, got away from all that and, had a better life. And, she spent a lot of time helping people in different 12-step groups, helping them to straighten out. So, which was good. Uh, but, it kind of made for a little bit of a different life. But I think everything that I've gone through in my life, I should really be grateful for
Hmm.
because it's made me for the person who I am today.
Exactly. I wouldn't change anything that happened to me because it's made me who I am today. And if I change one of those things, I might not be who I am today. So I
Oh,
totally agree with you.
yeah. And, it really taught me from seeing different people in the different walks of life that at an early age, you really shouldn't be passing judgment on anybody
No.
because anything can happen to anyone at any point in time.
Yep.
It's really amazing how some people can rise and some people can fall and then rise again. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, that's like the carnivore, rising and falling, we're getting ourselves back. Now, what was your body weight like growing up? I've been a fat kid since I was like 8.
Mm, I wouldn't say I had my moments up and down.
Hmm.
Um, when I graduated from high school, I don't know if this is a good point. Like when I graduated from high school, I was only 184 pounds at 6 foot tall, and I believe I had like a 28-inch waist.
Wow.
So, you know, I was riding the bike a lot, doing lots of things like that. And then I went away for a summer to a little town named Jonquière in Quebec to do a French immersion program. I had the best summer of my life. We drank way too much, ate way too much Putin, and partied way too hard. And then when I came back, it's like all of a sudden there was a weight issue, right? And then that's when I started training, and I really got into the.
What age were you when your weight started becoming a problem?
Well, a little bit in my youth, but mainly when I was about 18, 19. And then when I went to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
um, I had a very easy time putting size on. So I think in some ways I was kind of genetically gifted that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I trained with some pretty high level guys. And, it's always still been a passion to me. And then once I went to college and I got out of there, then I went and started working at a maximum security institution for 9 years.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And
How was
yeah, I
that?
worked, pardon me?
How was that?
Well, there's stuff that I wish I wouldn't have to remember.
I can imagine, man. Yeah, no.
I mean, I think the way how I did my job there was, again, you don't want to be passing judgment on people.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You're dealing with people a lot of addiction issues.
Mm-hmm.
You're dealing with people, um, you know, especially the area I worked in with a lot of what I'd call like organic brain damage.
Mm-hmm.
Because for the most of my career there, I worked mainly in protective custody, special handling with mentally disordered offenders and dangerous offenders.
Wow.
So there is some really strange behavior.
Yeah, I can imagine. Carnivore Dog says hello.
Hello. Yeah, yeah, she subscribed to me today. So yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, make
yeah.
sure you guys, if you guys got a question for Bubba while we're here, I got my own questions, but if you guys have a question as well, put it in the comments and I'll do my best to make sure Bubba gets the question and gives his answer. Um, so what brought you to the carnivore diet? Like, how did you find out about the carnivore diet?
Oh, how I first found about it, because even though I my training had been so sporadic and
Mm-hmm.
really off for the last, say, 7, 8 years, um, I still follow that. So I was watching Super Training Gym, and they had an interview with Dr. Sean Baker,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw him on London Real, and because of my knowledge base, it really made a lot of sense. So I'd say about 2 years ago, because I've got issues with arthritis. I've got osteo in my spine and my hips and rheumatoid in my knees, and I suffered from gout for years.
Okay.
Um, and I run a mini excavating business,
Oh yeah.
and I enjoy riding my Harley like a hell bent for leather type of deal. I ride pretty hard. I just can't ride anymore.
Yeah.
So I went on it for 6 months, had really good results. Then I got really busy with work. I had a slide. And then last Christmas, I ended up getting COVID,
Mm.
and I got really sick with a sinus infection. And my daughter was talking to me, and then a light bulb went off in my head that, you know, why is it? It's almost like a really bad allergy. So I started thinking about when I was doing the carnivore that my allergies were gone for
Hmm.
the most part.
Wow, that's great.
So the very next day, I just sick as a dog. I just started eating meat and eggs again, and 2 days later, the sinus infection was gone.
Wow,
Like it was so bad, I had to flush my system every hour just to breathe.
really?
Yeah, it was brutal. So then I went on it for a month and a half, and the results came back. Then I slid off again, and then basically every time I went off, the actual pain in my back and the arthritis got even worse. And I went into, oh, I forget the name of the place, but, they did the MRIs and whatnot. And I had Synvisc put in my knees and all that stuff. And he said, well, you're going to be looking at hip and knee replacements. And am I allowed to swear?
Oh, I prefer not, but
I just basically told the orthopedic surgeon, I just said, fuck you. I'm not
yeah.
doing it. And pardon my language. But
I don't blame you though. It's your health.
yeah, I said, no way. I'm not doing it. And so I just went back on it again. And, I'm much better than I was. But, I
She's
still have,
laughing.
pardon me?
Carnivore dogs are. She's laughing at you in a good
Yeah.
way.
Well, I'm just me. I'm a pretty real guy.
I love your videos, dude. I love watching your videos. You just sit there and you just talk and you just connect. You know what I'm saying? Like I really liked your video. You were talking about how these people should start taking responsibility for what they're feeding their kids. And I
Oh,
love that, man. And you were like, well, I don't know if this should be for the carnivore. Yeah, it should be, man. Put it whatever you feel. This is your life. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you feel is in your heart to speak. Don't ever be afraid to speak it on your channel, bud. Because I want to hear it.
because I'll tell you something. I've been through a lot in my life without getting too much into it. But what I learned is the people who really had my back were the hardest core people I knew, and it was usually somebody I rode with,
That's cool.
right? And
How are the carnivores though? Do you feel like we're a good community too, besides the riders?
yeah, I believe they're a good community, but I'm a little bit of a, I wouldn't say antisocial or anything like that, but I kind of sit back and listen and kind of watch what's going on, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I really connect with some of them, um, but I guess I don't really have to either. I just have to be me.
Yeah, there's only one you, Bubba. Yeah, there's only
Yeah,
one you. There's only one me.
I think what it is I think everybody's trying to do their best in their own way,
Mm-hmm.
and you know if and well, how should I say this? With not being judgmental, like I have supported a few people at the beginning when I first got into it. And I would say that there is a few of them that did not show me the love back.
Yeah.
I will say that. And does it really matter to me? No.
Yeah.
Because when I get comments like you just said, or what I hear from Kimberly, the comments I get from semi retired Bob, I had a comment from Jeff, is it?
I know
Oh,
you mentioned Carnivore Scott. He says
yeah.
you said he gives you a lot of great feedback, and that's
Oh,
awesome.
ton of stuff. I think that guy. I mean, I don't know him personally, right, or nothing, but you can just tell he's been through some stuff, and he's got a very kind heart, and he's just trying to do his best.
Right.
He,
Natalie says, "Hey Robbie, I've been listening but couldn't access the live stream. Thank you for all the great interviews you're doing. Yeah, no problem. Bubba here, he's worth listening to. I'm telling you, everybody's got a story, and there's something to learn from everybody, right, Bubba?
oh, for sure. And it's funny because with me, being a stoic, I'm very reflective on a lot of things, and I don't know, maybe I think a little deeper than most.
That's what I like about your videos. I
Yeah.
like that you're deep in thought. I love that, man.
Do you know what the funny part is when I do a video?
What?
I don't know what I'm going to say until I do it.
That's called the luminal space.
The
It's like,
liminal space.
yes, people, that's like it's the space between two ideas. I'll explain it to you quick. So if you thought the earth was flat and I convinced you it's round and you let go of the flat idea and went to the round, that space in between is called the luminal space, where they get the word subliminal.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever see people like on American Idol or something, they just block out everything and just sing their heart out and they do amazing. They're in the luminal space. They just let go, and it's almost like an out of body experience. You don't even know what you're going to say, but you just let go and you just speak from the heart. I just wanted to teach you a little. That's what my coach
Well,
taught me.
thanks.
Yeah.
Well, what I believe it is, like what you're saying, if we really connect within ourselves and we're very present or mindful and whatnot, that energy source is going to direct us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I believe, like
Amen.
true spirituality is about,
Yeah.
is actually being connected, because there is something that connects all of us together. It's whether or not you're awake enough to actually listen to it.
No, dude, I'm telling you, you got a level of awareness that I vibrate with, man. Like um I just see a lot of things in you that I believe myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that, man. You just open up and you talk to the camera, and you said you're into stoicism, right?
Right.
Yeah, Carrie is too. I don't study it myself, but I've been learning about it from Carrie, and you've been mentioning it too in your videos.
Yeah, there's a fellow you might want to follow, a Ryan Holiday.
Ryan Holiday.
Yeah, yeah. He's puts a lot of tremendous material and books, and yeah, it's there's a few more, but my brain isn't really on it right now with that
Mhm.
stuff. But one, I've read a lot of really deep books too, like Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, stuff by Eckhart Tolle and Sadhguru, and of course Ryan Holiday. And I'm rereading the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius right now.
That's cool.
Um, I get into playing the guitar.
I was going to ask you about that. You kept mentioning the guitar. Are you playing it? And how long have you been playing it? Are you playing it?
Yeah, I've I've only been I went back to it like how long ago was it, son? 5 years ago?
Something like that.
Yeah. After I separated from the ex, and it gave me and my son something to do, and it's very good for my mind. Both my kids are extremely musical.
Really?
Yeah, my daughter was composing music, I think, by the time she was 4 or 5 years old.
Wow. So it's in their blood. Hmm.
Oh yeah, she's really sharp. When she was a little baby, um, I'll never forget. I had a Strat in the living room that my mom bought me in high school, and we were playing Boom 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 by John Lee Hooker, and she crawled over to it and started kind of, bouncing up and down and plucking at the strings like at a year and a half. So
Wow.
we knew she was very musical, and both of them are just exceptional artists too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've been mentioned too in your videos that you're finally getting back in the gym. Like, how does that feel?
Mentally, it feels good. The body, not so good.
Yeah, no, I suppose, yeah.
You
What do
know,
you can you explain like some of your exercises? What are you doing and like for how long?
well, I'm only spending about 20 minutes in there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like the first day back, I just did a chest machine and some flies, like on the pec deck, and some push downs. The back day, I was just doing front pull downs, one arm rows on a like a cable machine, and then I was doing some dumbbell curls. Second day, for shoulder, or the third day, I do shoulders separately. So I was doing flies, reverse flies on the pec deck, and behind the back shrugs on the Smith machine.
Wow.
And then today we just did leg extensions and curls and standing calves, and that was after having a gout attack last night.
How is the gout doing on the carnivore? Do you see any improvement at all?
What I find, like, I think I'm actually a bit of an outlier with it.
Mm-hmm.
I still get it. Now, I don't know sometimes if it's an actual attack or it's just the crystals that are in there are getting agitated. I don't quite know about that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I find now is when I get on it, it goes away much, much quicker. So there's a definite improvement, but I know people say, well, you cure it with the carnivore or whatnot, but there's a lot more to it than that. And I don't believe that's really an accurate statement for everybody, right?
Right.
Everybody's
Everybody's
body's a
different.
little bit different. And,
Mm-hmm.
stress levels can affect it.
Maybe it hasn't cured it. Has it helped it at all, or not even much of that?
No, it's helped it.
Okay.
But what I've noticed is, I don't know if you've seen it, but I've been doing the cold therapy going in the ocean too.
I was gonna ask you about that, man. Like, you ain't afraid of sharks or nothing? Because I don't mess with the ocean, man. A shark doesn't come into my house. I don't go into his house.
I don't believe we got sharks up here. It's too cold.
Okay, okay.
But we
I
do
don't
got.
trust it still, man. If it's ocean water, I don't stick my tootsies in there. You know what I'm
Yeah, no,
saying?
I got no issue with it.
That's awesome, man. You are brave.
Yeah, it first time in there because the ocean here, I don't think it gets above 10 degrees centigrade.
Okay.
So that's 50, and normally it's around 4 or 5, so it'd be like I don't know, at low 40s in Fahrenheit, something like that.
A little cold for a shark.
Yeah, but what I find happens when I get out, I'll come home, and where I've had the gout and the arthritis, because I've had it in both my knees and ankles and feet and hands and elbows,
Mm-hmm.
whatever goes under the water when I come home is swollen.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So does
So,
that make you not want to jump in there as much?
well, no. So then I went to Dr. Google to find out what the heck was going on.
Is it the salt water?
Well, okay, this is my explanation. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I was told from a friend of mine who does it that our body needs 88 salts and minerals.
Mm-hmm.
The ocean has 94.
Oh, okay.
So we're actually absorbing that when we go in the water,
Oh, yeah.
plus with the extreme cold. But if you've got crystallization in the joints, that extreme cold causes it to shrink.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get out and you heat up, the blood is going in to repair. So hence, the swelling.
I got you.
So actually, the swelling I thought was a bad thing is actually a good thing.
Oh, okay. So it's
So
trying to heal.
yeah, it's trying to heal. So I mean, the pain level has definitely gone down. But like last week, I was in my mini and I got to go in tomorrow, and there's a lot of vibrations, and it's hard.
Yeah, I can
At the end
imagine.
at the end of the day, I mean, it sucks.
Yeah. Now back to your carnivore workouts. What does Bubba listen to when he's working out?
When I'm working out,
Yeah, what do you got on? What's pumping you up, man?
I could be like Motorhead, Metallica, Megadeth.
Wow.
It could be, I don't know, old Aerosmith like Toys in the Attic. Um, just whatever's on. Fastway. Do you remember a band Fastway, or is that before your day?
I don't remember. That might have been before.
Were you a big Motorhead fan?
I've heard of Motorhead.
Okay,
I've listened to more Metallica though.
the original guitarist in Motorhead was Fast Eddie Clark, and when he left Motorhead, because Lemmy did a duet with Wendy O. Williams to Stand By Your Man,
Yeah.
Start,
Stand by Your Man. My grandpa loves that song.
he,
He actually put that on above her garage. She painted that in words.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he started a new band, and the drummer was, I think it was Pete Way, that was from UFO.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a Dave King, a young Irish guy. He does punk stuff now.
Wow.
Incredible singer. And if you ever want to look up some blues bass, hard, like mid 80s rock, you look up Fast Way, like the song like Say What You Will. And yeah, and I mean, it's just killer stuff.
Yeah, that girl who sang the "Stand by Her Man." The joke is that she stood by her man, like all seven of them. She had about seven different husbands. So,
Good for her, I guess.
right. That was kind of the joke with that. Natalie Spencer, Robbie is so relatable. He is, man. I'm honestly, man. He's like into guitars and just jumping in the ocean and being one with the planet in this experience we're in, man. It's awesome. I love Robbie. Natalie Spencer, that makes so much sense. All part of the body's healing mechanisms. Yeah, with the swelling and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm behind a little bit on comments. Sorry, Robbie.
No, that's okay.
Didn't you meditate to Metallica too? Not sure how you done that, but you're unique. Did you meditate to Metallica, Bubba?
Yeah, I did when I was doing yoga stretches at the gym.
Man, I like you even more. How did you calm down to Metallica?
I don't know. I just do. I
LOL.
just,
Yeah, it is kind of funny. But it's you though. You're just being you.
yeah, yeah. No, I don't know. I think I'm kind of one of those guys that'll do whatever he can to help people out, but I also don't take any shit from anybody either.
Right.
So if there's somebody that's not being respectful,
Hmm.
I just draw the line, and I just walk away, or if they have to be told, then I'll tell them.
Yeah, for me, I just been kind of dodging it, like, and let that bad energy fly right by me. I don't even try to like stop it, absorb it, or anything. I'm like, hey, I'm in a good mood. If you're not, that's your battle. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how I look at it.
That's the one good thing about the Stoicism is that you know you're so much better, really, just to walk away from it, not and let it go.
Hmm.
What was it they say? Only 10% of what happens to you can actually bother you. It's the other 90% where your brain goes with it and your thought process.
Hmm. Yeah, if I think if we just detached from our outcomes and just were in the moment and grateful for this experience itself and didn't have so many expectations on how this should happen, that should happen, I think we'd be a lot more pleasantly surprised more often. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, they'll talk about karma, but they don't even understand what it is.
No.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I study natural law, and there's a law of cause and effect. So any energy you send out, that's the only energy you can receive. So like if you screw someone over, they're more than likely going to screw you over, and you're going to have that karma coming back. At least that's my look on it.
Yeah, it's your thought process.
Hmm.
If you continually think in a negative manner, you're going to will the life that comes your way.
Yeah, Earl Nightingale, he's got a thing on YouTube everybody can watch. It's called "You Become What You Think About," and it is
Mm.
just it's crazy. Which is true. You do become what you think of. Which is why finding Carnivore for me, I focused on Carrie from Homestead. How he was that beacon of light I focused on instead of all that darkness you can keep focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
Find a beacon of light in your life and then focus on that because you literally do become what you think about.
Oh, for sure.
You mentioned in one of your videos how being on the carnivore diet is kind of helping you be more minimalistic. And
Yes.
you even were like, "Yeah, man, I'm spending less now. If I would have been on this 20 years ago, I'd be loaded." Like I feel the same way. Could
Yeah.
you go deeper in that? How does the carnivore diet helping you feel more minimalistic?
Well, what's happened is well, I guess kind of go back to this, but I was in a pretty unhappy marriage for a long time. So, I really turned to work to keep myself out of the house. And, I was eating out too much.
Mm.
Nobody likes to go home to get crapped on.
No.
So, and I'm not running my ex down. I mean, she might be watching this. I don't know. But we didn't really, we didn't work together. And I think part of it was her culture with her being Japanese. Um, but so what I found is when I went on my own, I was still going out because you need that social aspect,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or going to the coffee shop or something.
Mm-hmm.
But now that there's really nowhere to go out and eat that's cost effective, because as soon as you order a la carte or off the menu, they're just sticking it to you right in the behind
Yep.
on the price. So it's just like I just stopped it. And then when I stopped drinking coffee, then I have a hard time going sitting in Starbucks and paying $3.50 for water because I feel I have to pay to be in there.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's
So
the money they spent. They say, well, Carnivore's too expensive. Well, yeah. Like if you I'm sure if you didn't cut none of your stuff out, but like the $8.50 latte at Starbucks, and you're telling me you can't afford a $4 New York strip, I don't get it. you
yeah,
know,
no, people can't think past their nose.
No, they need to stop using their five senses, because I got in a lot of trouble because something smelled good, tasted good, looked good, but then it didn't feel good. I started using my willpower and stuff more. You just mentioned you stopped drinking coffee. Now, for the people watching who are struggling with that, how did you personally stop drinking coffee?
I just stopped.
Just cold turkey?
Yeah, I sucked it up.
I love you, dude, man. I love that.
I didn't bitch about it. I just did it.
That's
It
awesome.
I mean, I have my good days and bad days, but if you're going to do something, you better do it. And I guess that's kind of one of the things that I'm not saying the carnivore community, but when you're watching different videos and people are making changes, and I know this isn't very stoic, and I've talked about it, but I don't like listening to pity parties
Mm-hmm.
because no matter what's happened to us in our lives, we put ourselves wherever we're at.
It's true. By our decisions we make. I've been stressing the power of the decision, Bubba, because like when I started loving myself, that love, what I mean by that is my decisions. Like I started saying no to the stuff that doesn't make me feel good and started saying yes to the things that do make me feel good, even if they're not as fun as a tub of ice cream with, little Reese's cups in there and stuff like that. It might not be as fun, but like I decided to love myself, man. And that's the power of a decision. You got to love yourself.
Oh, for sure. I mean, so I mean, I guess, so sometimes I'm not watching as much of the carnivore stuff as I was because there's a whole big world out there,
Yep.
and there's stuff we can learn from other aspects, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you pigeon yourself in the carnivore hole, you're not going to be learning the skills you need to complete your journey and be successful at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
life itself is a lot more things than just your diet.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I hate to say it, but I don't really hear that from a lot of people.
That's why on Chatting with Carnivores here, I like to talk about life and carnivore. It literally says that a couple times. Like it's more than just talking about meat. Life itself is involved with this carnivore. Like if we didn't have life itself, there would be no carnivore diet.
Yeah, and one of the things that kind of I don't know. My son's had me do some goofy stuff in the earlier videos, but I think we need to have some pride in ourselves and whatever we're putting out there because this stuff is going to be on YouTube probably for forever and a day.
Yep.
And if you don't have respect with yourself, right,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be out there and your kids are going to see it and your family's going to see it.
Right. Right.
So if you're just doing whatever to try and get clicks and views,
Mm-hmm.
you're not really concerned about substance.
No.
You're going to regret that at some point.
Right. Christine says, "Where do you get a $4 New York strip? I may have to move." I was just talking to John about that, and he's got the location. I think you get like 5 of them in a pack. He said for about $4 a piece. Real good deal. They're out there. You just gotta look, you guys. Like, and
Not
it's
in Canada.
no, but keep searching though. But it's definitely probably cheaper than a latte at Starbucks. That's for sure.
Yeah,
And
that's
better for you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Natalie, yes, I do too. There are amazing, inspirational people in the carnivore community. Compassionate carnivores is so true. Yes, it is. Christine, it took me a little while to give up my sugar in my coffee. I replaced with adding 3 raw egg yolks in my morning coffee and my 33% cream. However, I have cut down lots of my coffee. Good for you. Not everybody is strong willpowered as Bubba here. Bubba, he doesn't take crap from anybody, including his coffee. You know what I'm saying? He says, if I say no, that's no coffee.
yeah,
Let's see. I'm just trying to catch up on comments. Okay, Bubba. Absolutely. Natalie says you have to focus on your own journey too, Robbie.
yeah. Oh yeah, you can't get lost. I mean, one thing about from my education and working at the jail and what I study, I think I'm a pretty good judge of human nature. And you can decide if you're a believer or a seeker in this life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I consider myself a seeker because I don't normally accept anything as just so.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the things that people kind of get wrong with this, and not knocking any of the doctors, but you know, people they'll watch a video, they'll quote some study that was mentioned in the video, but they're totally forgetting that they're not part of the study. They're their own person,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and they're their own body. So just because there's something about a study says you should do this and this is what's going to happen, it may not work for them. So you really need to go out and get whatever work you need done on yourself if you care to do so to really know what's going on.
You gotta love yourself, otherwise, man, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of no one else. You can't. And a lot of us got big hearts. We'd love to help someone else, but man, how can you if you're not helping yourself? You know?
Well, you're just gonna burn out. You're not gonna be no good to anybody.
Yeah, no, and that's why I say for people to love themselves, it's not a greedy thing. Although a
No.
lot of people are being selfish, loving yourself is not selfish, because if you're making good decisions for yourself and you want to feel better and you're going to make those decisions to feel better, and then you start feeling better, you're gonna feel so good. You want to spread that to other people. You know, like not just how you got better, but you want to spread that good feeling. You're gonna want to walk up and hug somebody.
Hmm.
You know, you want to pat them on the back. You know, shake their hand. You know, like I am. I'm feeling so good. I didn't feel like this before, Bubba. Like I feel so good. I want to sit down and hear your story. And it's not like I didn't want to hear your story before. I just didn't feel good enough. I didn't have the energy. You know, and when your back hurts and you got IBS and all this other stuff, it it's like a tap into your energy stream, and it just constantly
Hmm.
drips out and it drains you all day of any energy you might have banked up during the night, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. I think a lot depends if somebody's really had a hard life or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Christine says, not in Canada at all. No Starbucks for me. I don't understand the word no most of the time. LOL. Yeah, you guys, you got to tell yourself no, though, sometimes if it's going to help you out. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Meme vlog, new friend here. How you doing? Bubba, if you guys got questions for Bubba while he's here, put it in the comments here. And if you could put a Q in front of it, because it's a little easier for me to tell that it's a question rather than you guys just talking amongst yourselves. Yeah, shout out to Bubba, man. Shout out. Bubba's coming here and sharing his story. He's got a really cool story, you guys. If you love your neighbor more than you love Jesus, if you love Jesus more than you live your neighbor. Okay. That's interesting. Um, Bubba, I
Yeah.
got how is the carnivore diet helping your mental health?
I'm quite a bit clearer, but because I do suffer from PTSD, depression is intertwined with that too, right? So I have more better days than I have bad days.
That's good.
But I find because I am clearer that I can recognize a trigger quicker and kind of deal with things much faster and not go down that rabbit hole,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
That's the part about putting the work in, right? You got to put the work in on all aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what about your what does a week of eating look like for Bubba? What is your diet like? What are you eating on the carnivore?
I eat a lot of eggs, probably 6 in the morning.
Do you scramble them, hard boil them, over easy? What do you do?
Different every day, just about.
Really? Okay.
Usually sunny side up or scrambled.
Okay.
I'll have some bacon or some kind of meat with it, or maybe leftover chuck or prime rib or something from the night before.
Mm.
I do eat shrimp. I do eat pork. I do eat chicken. More on the beef side. Last night we did something a little bit different. As my son picked up some oxtails,
Oh yeah? I
and
never had that.
yeah, I never had them before either. So,
Really? Is it what did you think of it, Bubba?
well, it was pretty good. It was interesting because it's actually it's beef, but they call it because it's the tail, right?
Yeah.
So what I did was I put them in the Instapot for 45 minutes
Mm-hmm.
with some spices and just water. So I kind of made like a soup with it,
Really?
and it was really good. Yeah, and I added some um, pig fat with it because I seared it in lard. Like I'm actually even rendering my own lard now.
Really?
Yeah,
How do
yeah.
you do that? It's for anybody who doesn't know.
Well, what we did was we went to Glenwood Meats. My son's actually working there now, and I bought
Oh,
like
you got a
five.
meat connection now. Oh
Yeah,
man.
so I bought 5 pounds of pig fat, and I put them into 3 bags, like a pound and a half, 2 pounds a bag type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And then what I do is I cut it up into squares. I put a Pyrex dish in the bottom of the air fryer, and I just put them on the racks, and I put it in there on 400 for about 30 minutes, and all the fat goes in the Pyrex dish,
Oh.
and then I do another rack, and then but before we do that, I actually salt and pepper the pig fat, so then we have the cracklings when we're finished.
Wow. Man,
Yeah.
you got a system there. I'm gonna have to try that. Never tried it.
Well, the funny thing is, I never saw anybody do it, and I was trying to figure out how to render pork fat. This is only like maybe 3 weeks ago. So we actually made a goofy little video about it that I never put out. And then like 3 days later, semi-retired Bob on the end of one of his videos was doing it with beef fat, and I go, I can't do it now. I'd be like, I'd be like cheating or something, right?
Well,
Even
just
though
do
I
your
already,
own version. We like
yeah,
seeing you do whatever.
yeah. So, but if my hair wasn't such a mess in the video, because we were just screwing around, and yeah, it worked out really good. I mean,
Sometimes the screwing around videos are the best ones, man. I'm telling you. You like sometimes I put all this effort into editing and stuff, and then it gets like barely any views, and then I'll put up a different video where I literally it's one take, and then it does a lot better. So you just never know. Natalie's got a question though for you, Bubba.
sure.
Is Bubba eating enough organ meat so nutrient dense will help both mental and physical well-being? Are you eating organ meat?
No.
No. Well, there you go. Now he's not eating organ meat. Some people like Kilby Life. He was putting it in. He takes like chicken heart and chicken liver and stuff, and then grinds it up while he's grinding up his beef into hamburger. Like you can mold it
Hmm.
and stuff, and so it goes into the beef as a mixture thing. But he doesn't like eating it by itself.
Well, we have been talking about it. Like, we found a source of chicken giblets that I might start buying too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not like when you go to Costco to buy your meat, they have a lot of liver or anything kicking around.
Yeah. Yeah. Time traveler. I love oxtails. In South America, we cook pepper pot. Cooks for hours and tastes even better when you reheat. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was good.
Yeah, no, I've never had it. And you said, what'd you put on it? Like just salt?
I put salt, pepper. I put taco spice and a High's a chicken spice.
Now, does taco seasoning work well with you? Because I just had John on earlier, and he said it just when he tried taco seasoning again, he said it really made his stomach upset.
It doesn't bother me,
No,
but
yeah, it doesn't bother me.
I will say one thing that bothers me if I take any Frank's Red Hot and I put it on my food, I feel it really bad in my joints the next day.
Really? I
Oh,
wonder
yeah.
what's in there.
Well, it's a nightshade, right? Because it's just peppers.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, and I used to love, I drowned my eggs and hash browns in that, and I just love the stuff. But I just after a couple shot tries with it, I just you know what? I don't want the pain. I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah, see, you're learning like as much as it smells good, tastes good, my body doesn't love me. You know what I'm saying? So then you just say
Hmm.
it makes an easy decision to just say, I'm done with it. What are some carnivore channels that you do watch?
That I do watch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've watched a few of yours.
I appreciate that.
Um, I've watched a bit of Carrie's, not too much. I kind of like semi-retired Bob because he kind of puts out the same thing every day, and I just feel he's a pretty genuine guy, and he's just trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
And he interviewed me too. The other one, I like Kimberly, and because we kind of started out the same, so we've kind of become buds too, right?
Hey, here's your buddy right here, Carnivore Scott. He says, "Hi guys." Hey
Yeah,
Scott.
I like watching Scott. And the thing I like about him, even more so than his videos, is when he watches mine and what he's and how it actually affects him and his comments.
He's actually
And
listening and paying attention.
yeah, I think he's a very deep man. And so what makes me feel really good about that is like, I'm at least reaching that one person with the actual intent, because my intent is I really want people to think for themselves and think out of the box a little bit.
Yes, I am with you, dude.
Because a lot of comments I've had from people, and I've always found it quite sad, is they're afraid to tell their family
Mm.
or their
They're
friends.
like carnivores in the closet.
Yeah, yeah,
That's sad.
yeah. It adds a whole new rainbow color to the flag, I guess. I don't
It
know.
does, yes.
But
But you
you
could be in the
know,
closet about a lot of things, you know. I guess even carnivore.
yeah, and that really bothers me because I really don't give a shit. Like
No, yeah.
I really
How
don't
can
like.
you live your life if you give a crap what other people think? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be you. Like is that Frank Sinatra? I've got to be me. Is that him?
Yeah,
You know that song, I've got to be me? It's so true. You got to be you. You can't be like you who your son thinks you should be. You got to be who Bubba thinks Bubba should be. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's got to live like Bubba, man. You got to just not give a shit. And you know that's why you're into the guitar. It's all making sense. You rock stars got that I don't give a shit attitude, and so do you, man. And that's what makes you cool. You know what I'm saying? Like a rock star cool. Like you don't give a crap what people think, and you just do what you do. And I respect that about you. You have a rock star attitude, Bubba.
the funny thing is, like, I got this tattoo on my arm.
I was gonna ask you how many tattoos you got.
Just a few, not too many. I've got the flames with honor and respect on each arm. I got my kid's name in the because they're half Japanese, but in the Chinese character form on my left shoulder. On my right calf, I've got a thing that from a oh geez, Little Ed and the Blues Imperial, and Little Ed and the Imperials. Quote from one of his songs is, "I had to start dying before I learned how to live."
Ooh.
And then on my right outer arm, I've got a really wicked skull with the lower mandible removed, and I've got FTW on the bottom. You know what that
Sure, I know
means,
what
don't
that
you?
means. Yeah, I'm sure I know what that means. Man,
People go to me and they say, "Is that for the win?" I said, "No."
yes, yeah, it's for the win, sure. No,
You
guys,
know,
Bubba's tatted up. You might not have known it, but Bubba is tatted up probably more than half you guys in the comments right now. So, um,
you want to hear a Bubba biker story?
yeah, of course I do.
How funny.
Very funny. As funny as that you can get.
Okay, I don't know. This might offend people, but I got this one helmet, and I've got all these helmet stickers on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty vulgar. And there was this shop that a couple ladies I knew owned, um, and they were gay, and so there's a group of guys I rode with. We were in the shop, and there was a whole bunch of lesbian bikers in there, and I'm sitting at the front counter on this thing, and they've got all these helmet stickers up on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I zero in on one of them, and they go, "Robbie, what are you looking at?" I said, "That sticker over there." They said, "Which sticker?" "Well, the one right there." They said, "Well, what does it say?" "It says, 'Dip me in honey and throw me to the lesbians.'" This one gal, Christy, looks at me. "I don't think that one was meant for you." I said, "F it." I said, "I'm gonna buy it." So I bought the sticker, right? I'm putting it on my. I didn't put it on my helmet right then, but and and I said, "Imagine that." My kids thought I was homophobic. Well, the whole place went dead quiet,
Oh,
right? And all these ladies were looking at me, and I said, "You know how I know I'm not homophobic and my kids were wrong?" And they said, "How?" And I could just see the intensity was there. I said, "Because I effing hate everybody like this." And they looked at me and they started laughing. And I said to them, I said, "You know what the problem is?" They said, "What?" I said, "I don't care who anybody is." I said, "I only care about one thing." They said, "What?" "If you treat me with respect."
right.
If I treat you with respect,
Mm-hmm.
I want the same in return.
Right. That's not
And
too much to ask for.
no, and I don't pass judgment on anybody and their lifestyles. That's up to them. Um, I just really think we all kind of need to do that and have a check and balance with that, because you know it's the world, I think, is way too crazy, going left and to the right, and people aren't being respectful to one another. And
People should go to the center, and what I mean by that is inside themselves, and
yeah,
start finding themselves. Carnivore Scott says, family is a tough sell, Bubba.
yeah, it is.
They are the people we love, and they know our buttons. Yeah, they know what buttons to hit, man, and they smash them. Time trial. I just ordered a load of organ meats online, needing to stock up in case the shortage reaches me. LOL. Okay, I don't know about any shortage here. Christine, time traveler, where do you live? I know if I talk to the butcher and the meat department at the grocery store, they can many times get it in. Do you ever go to a butcher, Bubba, or do you just go to the grocery store?
I either go to Costco or to Glenwood Meats, and I haven't really gone into asking for the organ meats there,
Okay.
but I'm sure I can get it.
That's a good tip for you. Carnivore Scott, perhaps it is a matter of maintaining your sense of self, yet acknowledge others in their own right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
One of the things I find that it's really lacking now, and this isn't necessarily a carnivore thing, but just the lack of holding the door open for people.
Courtesy.
Yeah, courtesy and a smile and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, right?
How am I doing, Bubba?
Oh, you're doing pretty good. You've got lots of energy. You've been
I'm on
training.
carnivore.
You've you've been cranking out these live streams.
I
You're gonna
love,
be.
I love, man. I had a near death experience, Bubba, and you know, I ever since then I've been so grateful for every day, dude, just being alive. And
Mhm.
I find it so exciting to get to know guys like you and get to hear your story and get to know that you're into guitars and you're jumping in the ocean and you got tats all over. Like I could have not been known about you, like I could be dead right now. So I honestly am living it up, man. That's why I'm on here sharing. So I want to share as many stories and help as many people as I can while I'm alive. And then when I'm dead, man, someone else can continue up where I left off.
Well, I got
Christine.
lots of tough stories too. So,
Yeah.
well,
Christine says she can't handle the flavor of organs. So you do supplements. Do you do any supplements, Bubba?
no
What about electrolytes, Bubba?
salt.
Salt?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's the old time bodybuilders never did that.
No.
No,
I
no.
remember I was watching a documentary with some wrestlers, and Hulk Hogan was talking about when he hung out with Andre the Giant, and he
Hmm.
said, they're both big guys, a lot of muscle, and he says they would go to Denny's and get like a boatload of bacon, sausage, eggs. He said we would just load up on the fatty stuff. That's how I was like. I was even hearing it from Hulk Hogan that he was loading up on fatty meats. I mean, and he's actually still alive and looking good, man. Hulk Hogan's looking good.
Hmm.
It's crazy, man. Christine, I'm still training myself to like them. I do struggle with a bit. Um, what do you suggest to people struggling like with the carnivore diet? Do you got any good tips for carnivores? Like, could be about anything. Do you got some good tips?
Well, I think the most important thing is stay well hydrated and make sure you get enough fats in you,
Mm-hmm.
because that can lead to a bit of a problem. I've had that issue, right? So you don't want to feel like you got a grizzly bear shooting out of your backside,
That's
right?
funny. Yeah, right.
I mean, that's not much fun.
Mm-mm.
I think the thing is, if you choose to do it, I can't tell anybody what to do, and I won't. Make sure you do your homework. Just don't do it because somebody on some video told you once that this is what you need to do. Really do your research and really pay attention where your research is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's extremely important,
I do too.
right? But I think also with my past history, um, it really did make a lot of sense to me because I am very much carb sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done all sorts of different diets and stuff with training and things like that. So I know what like can suck water. I mean, I could go out and have a couple of beers one night and then be 8 or 10 pounds heavier the next day.
Yeah,
So
I swear I'm like that too, man. I try not to touch a carb because it's just
yeah,
doesn't do me good.
yeah.
What is your like one personal stick out benefit that you've had on the carnivore?
Mm,
What's the one that really sticks out to you? Like, I'm really glad this improved or this got better.
well, I think I will say, even though I still have issues with my arthritis, it's so much better than when it was, and my brain is so much clearer than it was. It makes it just that much easier for me to function. But I'm nowhere near close to being perfect.
Hmm.
Um, I think it would be, and I did something I didn't do, but I think it would be really important for people when they start it. Get a log, get a book, not your phone, a book, and write a journal every day on how you're feeling and what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we can tend to forget the things that have improved and the things that haven't. Because what I found is because I was in so much pain all the time. I was so used to it. So now when something acts up, it actually affects me more,
Mm.
because you're way more sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And I know lots of people come on, get testimonials and videos and whatnot, and say everything's cured, but it's still there. Because if you go back, it's going to rear its ugly head.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just think, really keep track of that and keep honest about it, right? It's there's no shame in admitting that, what, this really isn't 100% for me, but really gauge the improvement, and if you feel it's improving in your life, then you should keep going on with it.
Mm-hmm. I've been seeing people ask, they want non-carnivores ask, like, how is carnivore helping your life? Could you just end us with on that one? Like, besides, some of what you just mentioned, like how is the carnivore diet helping you in your life?
um I think it just gives me overall greater peace, but then again, it's one tool in the toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important to have, more than just one thing going for you. And I wouldn't put it down just to faith or anything like that. But, we really have to put our work in on ourselves to have any improvement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's true.
I don't know if I should say this or whatnot, but I wouldn't mind doing this again with you sometime. And it'd be very interesting to talk to Carrie about philosophy.
Yeah, no, we could definitely do one. I wanted to interview Kerry in the future just to talk life, because he's an interesting guy, man, and he's done a lot of things, and we can always talk carnivore, right? But once in a while, it's nice to talk about other things. But yeah, I would love to do it with you again, and I hope you are you going to come back up for an update video?
Oh, for sure. Get a hold of me anytime, email me, whatever you want. I'm always open. I don't believe I've missed one message to anybody who's written me.
No, and speaking of which, can we go through the comments quick before we wrap up, Bubba?
Sure.
Okay, let's try to do that here quick. My family is so supportive. I am blessed. That's great. That's great. DL, interesting conversation. Okay. Bubba, what bike you ride? I used to restore and ride an Indian. Indian was the first American-made motorcycle. So what do you ride? You ride Indians or Harleys or
What I've
Kawasaki?
got, and I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna a bit of a tongue twister. I got a 2001 Electric Glide Standard, and a friend of mine was doing the high performance work for the HAs,
Mm-hmm.
and he built my motor, and he built a 95-inch motor, stage two heads, 45 mil McCuney, T-Man 590 cams, gear drive,
Wow.
push rods. We had the ignition done, 2-in-1 Reinhardt at break-in. It dynoed at 110 horse and 106 foot-pounds of torque out of a 95-inch motor.
You like to go fast, don't you, Bubba?
Yeah, and I had the suspension done and all that stuff. And
That's cool. Let's go through a couple more of these here. 100% Natalia. Okay, here. Natalie, I'm sorry. This stupid button here. Sorry about that. I live in Connecticut. There is one butcher I need to check. Bonger's Meat Market in Manchester, Connecticut. Okay. Carnivore Scott here. If I can click the right button. Sorry about that. He says, amen. Yes, I'm telling you, man, Bubba has given a lot of good info tonight, and he's a true speaker. He cuts right through it. He doesn't give you the bull crap, doesn't beat around the bush. Good night. Yeah, good night. That's Carnivore Scott. I have heard that as we have transitioned off our carbs, we actually have become insulin resistant now. If we wanted to go back to carbs, we need to go slowly. All right. Yeah, I really don't plan on going back to carbs. Like, what are your plans, Bubba? Are you staying on the carnivore diet? Are you going? Would you go
if,
back to keto or what?
if it's not broken, I don't fix it.
I love that answer. We got another question for you, Bubba.
Yeah.
Question: has Bubba had any bloods before and after starting carnivore? for comparison how I think blood work is what they're saying.
No, I haven't. I don't really care.
He goes by how he feels.
Yeah.
Eric Carnivore RN, great job, Bubba. Yes, dude, Bubba's killing it, man, and he's got the attitude of a winner, man. He's gonna keep on winning. Yeah, Carnivore Scott, so true about the carbs. Yep. Let's see. He said, got to run for a bit. It was great catch up. Yep. Thank you, JT. Thank you, but thank you for stopping by, Carnivore Scott. Great interview, Poker. Yep, Robert. Yeah, it's a great interview because Bubba is sharing his great story, and he's taking the time to come on here and help teach you guys something. And I said it before, I'll always say it, man. My coach says there's the first law of learning is repetition, and I feel like if we play this over and over, sometimes your mind might drift. You're thinking about groceries or something else, and you miss maybe 20-30 seconds of the video. So replay it because there's value in Bubba and there's value in his story, and that's why he came on here to share with you guys, connect. And he's a beacon of life. Subscribe to his channel because he's going to be putting out videos, and he sits there and he talks, man, right to your soul. That's how you feel when how I feel when I'm watching your videos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and every once in a while I'll tell like a jail story. We were working the other day, and guys I was working with, they work up in the oil patch in Alberta, and they asked me what I'd done, and I told them, the couple of stories, right? And their jaws just dropped. And I looked at them and I said, "Wow, how'd you like that running through your head every night, buddies? Your life's not so bad."
Right.
Yeah. All of a sudden they didn't think they were that special, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah. Definitely I definitely want you back for an update video, Bubba. Is there any last words you got here before we sign off on everybody?
Well, I just want to tell everybody, if you want to be a good person, a good stoic, good carnivore, is just to be kind, like I say at the end of each video. And I love everybody, and I want them to take care, and just don't pass judgment.
That's so beautiful. Because you can't judge a book by its cover, man. Maybe taking a quick glance at Bubba, you might not know he's tatted up. He plays guitar. He jumps in the ocean. He's weightlifting. Like, don't judge people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's on their own journey, and Bubba's working out more than I am. I don't even go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? So you can't pass judgment on people. You know what I'm saying? You just got to hear them out and listen to their story, just like we did. And Bubba, thank you for sharing your story, because
you're more than welcome.
I wanted to watching your videos. I was like, I got to get to know this guy some more, man. Natalie says 100% Bubba. Right, dude. He is 100%, man. He's 110%,
The only reason I guess maybe I wasn't a 1%er is because I worked in law enforcement.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. See? Oh, yeah. Corrections. Yep.
Yeah. It's
cool.
I really believe in having integrity and doing what you say you're going to do.
Right.
If that's what I taught my kids, I said, you don't rat one another out. I don't want to hear it.
I'll have to try that one. I don't have. I just got one so far, but when the second one comes, I'll say, hey.
I was very blunt with them, and the other rule I had with them, I said, I only want to hear from you guys about something when it's that bad.
Right.
I said, that's it. And I put my hand down, and I said, no drinking and no drugs until you're an adult. If I catch you doing something, you're gone.
Wow.
That was it.
And that's it, huh?
And that was it, because I saw way too many people destroyed, and I knew how the prescription stuff affected my own upbringing, and I wasn't going to put up with it.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's good, because your kid's got a good example. Then you put your foot down and said, hey, listen to me. Time Traveler, thanks, JT, and thanks, Bubba. Yes, thank you guys for tuning in. Bubba will be back. He said he's going to come back for an update. I'm sure he will. He's got my email. I'm going to give him my number after the stream here, and we're going to stay in contact. You guys, that is it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next episode of Chatting with Carnivore. Say goodbye to Bubba and say goodbye to me.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.